Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the my next podcast of mine on back to ancient healing. My life ambition is always to analyze with experts, subject matter experts, solutions for our day-to-day life scenarios from ancient wisdom or ancient healings and add such similar ancient methods in the World Wide Web, www, so that solutions are made available when someone searches, in the Google or on any search network or any AI platform. In my podcast, we may not be discussing how to get liberation or moksha or salvation, which is but at the very high end, or such similar terms, but my our podcast will be based on how does a common man resolve or behave in a better way every day to become a better person and live happily always. Now, living happily always, is it possible in today's world, especially in the dogs eat dogs professional environment, especially sometimes in a hostile work location? No problem for me because, hey, I've retired as of December 2024. So I decided from January 2025 that I'll get up very late in the morning since there was no early morning calls or late night calls. But as our ancestors say, this mind, we can call it a monkey mind, all the human beings always start thinking about past memories. And after retirement, my mind, as usual, question if my team members respected me. Did they have a good relation with me? Always those thoughts comes to my mind. And did they listen to me, my teammates? Or my mind will think, did I have a good relationship with my boss in the office to excel in my work? I still remember some of my colleagues in other teams when I was working. They always complained that their boss takes the credit with the management, even if they worked hard. And also, bosses sometimes biased to some of the team members who get more bonus and more increase in salary. Some leave the company because they do not have a good relationship with their boss, and then they come back after a year. It has happened to me in my company because then when I asked them, when did you come back, they said they didn't like the boss in the new company. So my question to them was, did you develop a good relationship with your boss, either the current company or the new company? And did you attract good relationship with your professional boss? The question, sometimes they answer, sometimes they do suddenly realize that they were not able to attract a good relationship with their boss. In any company they go, the names changes, the boss name changes, but the characteristics of any human being remains the same, unless you change and attract a good relationship with your boss. Now, this reminds me of an instant mentioned in our ancient Bhagavad Gita. You can call it Hindu Bible. Where there is a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. So the dialogues goes this way. Krishna says, Arjuna, see that there is a bird moving from one tree to another tree. Arjuna, his team member, and if I may call it, or his disciple, says, yes, yes, Krishna, a bird is moving. Then after a few seconds, Krishna says, no, 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 it's not a bird. I think it's a peacock moving from one tree to another. Arjuna immediately says, yes, 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 Krishna, you're right, it's a peacock. Then again, after a few seconds, Krishna says, oh, come on, Arjuna, no, it is not a peacock, it's a monkey which is moving from one tree to another. And of course, Arjuna's answer was, yes, yes, Krishna, you're right, it is a monkey. Now, if I stop the story here, people may think that, is this how you behave with your boss? That you always try to say yes, yes to your boss, though you feel that it is not correct? And does it mean that the boss will be happy only when you go on saying, be a yes, sir, to a boss? Will it improve the relationship? Now, the story of Krishna and Arjuna continues. The answer lies in how beautifully Arjuna replies to Krishna. When Krishna says, "What is this nonsense, Arjuna? Every second I have contradicted, but you went on saying yes to me, and you didn't believe what I was saying." Arjuna's answer is two-part. Very beautiful. This is where we have all of us to learn in the present scenario. Arjuna says, "Krishna, first I trust you." Now, the trust is a positive word. It's a positive vibration being passed on to the boss. When you feel, you need not even say to the boss. Of course, if you say, it will be very good. But even when you pass the trust to your boss, the reciprocal will be your trust of the boss in you. The attraction happens. This has been proved. I think by last podcast I mentioned about a Japanese scientist. Who had proved scientifically that he took a glass of water, and then he went on past positive vibrations to the water and say, "I trust you, I love you, I adore you." Next day when he saw that the molecules are so beautiful in their structure, and it is very good to taste. Whereas when he passed words like, I don't like you, or I don't have confidence in you, and somehow I'm not convinced of you, when you pass this, the molecule structures were so different, and the water taste was very bad. And since the human body consists of 70% of the water molecules, the same scenario applied. That is what the ancient Bhagavad Gita told us, that the disciple or the team member should have send positive vibration to the boss, and that's how he can develop a very good relationship in turn. Because once you pass the positive vibration, automatically the boss can never ever, scientifically it is improved, that pass on negative vibration to you. They will appreciate you, have a good relationship with you, and all that. This is the first part of the answer that Arjuna gave. Beautiful. We all should remember this. The second part, Arjuna mentioned that he said, "Krishna, every day when I get up early in the morning, my affirmations are the affirmations, we may call it in today's world." But what he says is, Arjuna tells Krishna that every day morning, as soon as I get up, I meditate and think that I am grateful that I have a master, or I have a boss like Krishna, with whom, if I am there, I will win the war today and vanquish all the enemies today. That affirmation I have, that is the confidence I have. This is what you call as the positive affirmations. That as long as you have the positive belief in your boss, that day positively, it has been proved in Bhagavad Gita that that day Arjuna vanquishes all his enemies and he wins the war that day. So there are two things that we should always remember in this ancient confirmation or ancient wisdom. That first thing is, I think this has been proved. Before I joining IT industry, I was in marketing and management. I think in the management school, they have been very emphatic it on, when suppose it has been written in many of the books also, and there are a lot of seminars and booked on this. When a boss says something, he says, "Hey, this is what we have to do." The first word that should come out from the team members' word is yes. Now, this may look little odd. This may look like you are falling at the boss feet. No, because once you say the word yes, the boss ego comes down, if at all he has an ego, and then immediately he will be happy. And then after a few seconds, the team member can say, "But how about doing this?" This is what exactly the management books and a lot of management principles have been mentioned, that first to say yes, and then later on you say that, okay, there are various different ways of doing this. 90% of the time the boss will agree to your alternate suggestion. So this is what beautifully mentioned in the ancient wisdom of how Arjuna behaves with his boss, or his supervisor, or the person whom he gets the direction every day in the war and all that. This is passing of positive vibration. This is what happens. So there is a lot of such lessons that we have learned, how to how to attract a good relationship with your immediate boss or with your colleagues in your office and all that. Now, the question is, do you think that this works 100% all the time now in the present scenario where it's a dog eat dog world? Do you think that it is 100% works all the time? Now, I may say yes, but to answer this question, I decided that an expert having knowledge on law of attraction, how do we attract good relationship, should answer this question. So how to attract a good relationship with your professional boss. So I decided to have another podcast with Gunjani Patel. Welcome, Gunjani, and thank you so much for agreeing to participate in this podcast and share with us the method of law of attraction, which we call law of attraction in English in the present world, but which has been practiced and used in our ancient wisdom, which enables a a man like me to attract good relationship in our day-to-day professional life with our boss. Gunjani Patel is a manifestation and life transformation coach with over 17 years of experience as a board licensed professional clinical counselor. She has helped more than 30,000 people transform their health, relationship, career, and money by blending neuroscience, subconscious reprogramming, and powerful advanced manifestation techniques. Welcome, dear Gunjani, and thank you so much for accepting to do this podcast. And now it's all yours without much ado. So, my first question to you, Anjani, is what is this new terminology that is being used in the present world of law of attraction? How does it work in order to attract a good relationship with your boss? Gunjani, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Sainath. I just wanted to express my gratitude that I get to be here on your podcast, and I appreciate you considering my expertise on this matter. And I look forward to adding value to your community and your audience. Thank you so much, all of you that are listening and spending your time here so that you can learn to be a better human, learn to just excel and succeed in all areas of life. And today we are focusing on career. So to answer your question, Sainath, law of attraction simply says that you don't get what you want, you get what you are. Let me explain. What that means is that when it comes to your boss in this situation, our emotional patterns, right? Our life results, whatever is happening in front of us, like you said, if you leave this boss and go to the next place, you'll keep attracting the same situations over and over, because again, we don't attract what we want. We attract the same situation in different ways based on our emotional patterns, our energy, and our belief patterns. And the third underlying thing is our expectations are silently broadcasting how they treat us. So again, we cannot change other people. We cannot change their stories. We cannot change their perceptions. But the only thing we have control over is when we change our frequency, when we change our emotional patterns, when we change our belief patterns, things around us automatically change. And I've seen this time and time again in all these years of working with people in terms of vocational leadership, in terms of working with people, in terms of fixing their relationships, in terms of their health or their financial goals. So instead of most people, the way when they are having a difficult time with their boss, if you think that they don't respect you, or you will attract situations that mirror exactly that belief. But you're like, no, Gunjani, but actually they don't. Okay, let's go a little deeper. Since I also teach advanced manifestation skills, and you do too. So one of the things that we learn in advanced manifestation skills is the balance. Most people don't realize this, but the way you feel around your boss is usually the way your inner child felt around your parents. Let me explain. Some of you are like, what does my boss have to do with anything related to my parents, right? If you're always trying to prove yourself, if you're constantly afraid of being judged, or if you never felt good at work, that's likely a masculine wound. We all have this feminine and this masculine energy within us, irrespective of whatever gender we are in, right? This has nothing to do with gender. This has to do with energy. So it's like the Shakti is the feminine energy. The masculine is the Shiv Shakti. If we have imbalances in the Shiv Shakti area of our life, in the masculine and the feminine suppression or wounding, then we will keep attracting the same situations over and over and expect different results. So when we manage and balance that frequency, things around us, people around us change. So I'll give you an example. So we learned early on that I have to perform to be loved. And now every boss becomes a stand-in for that approval you never fully got. On a flip side, if you are the kind of person who overgives, just goes above and beyond, but yet you feel invisible, yet you cannot set boundaries, that's often a feminine, a Shakti wounding. So you learned as a child that if I take care of other people, I'll be recognized, I'll be appreciated, I'll go above and beyond, and automatically they will just appreciate me. But in the meantime, we self-betray. We don't respect and appreciate ourselves. We don't have high self-esteem and high self-regard. And as a result, they are mirroring to us what we think and what we believe. So we shrink ourselves and expect appreciation without asking for it. So this wounding creates an imbalance in our yin-yang energy. The yin is the feminine, the yang is the masculine. So too much wounding yang energy or suppressed yang energy affects you professionally, and too much wounded feminine yin energy affects your personal relationships with boss. So yang energy leads to having financial struggles and having money struggles, having struggles, whereas yin energy is struggles in your relationships. So yin energy wounding is you people please, you go above and beyond, you attract dismissive bosses. But here's the truth. Your boss is not your parent, but your nervous system, your subconscious mind had this programming in the first 7 years of life or in teenage years of life. So you show up to work having all these imbalances that you don't even know about. So to heal the root, we have to reparent our energy, and you'll stop manifesting the same karmic patterns at work. And your relationship with your boss will shift the moment your relationship with yourself shifts. Like in Bhagavad Gita, right? Like Krishna is almost a mirror of what? Like if you, like you said earlier, if you trust yourself, if you are self-assured, if you ask for your needs, if you go above and beyond, and like you said, yes, there is communication is a skill. That's something we have to learn. So if your boss suggests something to you, and if you have wounded yin energy, you won't say anything, but inside you will be boiling, you'd be feeling not appreciated, you'll be like literally thinking of your exit plan. Instead of saying, okay, learning skills, negotiation is a skill, conflict management is a skill, communication is a skill. These are life skills that we needed in order to navigate workplace and leadership. Well, so like you said, if you want your needs to be met, yes, I agree with you. And I never say but, because everything before but gets erased. And this is also an idea that I wanted you to consider. What do you think about that? So if we were able to navigate from a place of understanding and mutual respect, but respect for yourself first and appreciation for yourself first, then you will improve your relationship in your workplace.
Lovely, lovely. So the whole exercise is we have to change ourselves, and
100%.
we cannot expect the boss to change. Is that correct?
Yes. So again, law of attraction is we attract our emotional patterns. We attract our belief patterns. So if my belief pattern is my boss is very difficult, he never understands me, he never appreciates me, no matter what I go above and beyond, I never feel seen and heard or appreciated. So instead, shift that to I am someone who attracts respect and recognition easily. And then in our last episode, we discussed Ho'oponopono and how you can use Ho'oponopono to heal how you are feeling, heal that low self-esteem, heal that not feeling good about yourself, heal that inner child, and reparent that inner child to love and have high self-regard, high self-respect. If your boss doesn't appreciate you, no problem. So what? Like there are things that you have to heal within you. Otherwise, you're going to keep attracting the same boss in different jobs, in different, same team, same kind of people, because it has 100% to do with our emotional patterns, our belief patterns, our energy, and how we show up. The world is reflecting to us how we are feeling inside, what is still within us that needs to be re-parented, healed, within us that needs to be shifted. We magnetize people not by
So,
changing them, but by upgrading our own internal story, internal patterns.
so the suggestion is to pass positive vibrations to the boss. How do we pass the positive vibrations to the boss?
We don't pass positive vibrations to the boss, we change our internal vibration. So there used to be a time, right? I used to have a very hard time speaking. I could not speak up. I could not talk. I could not stand. I used to feel a lot of fear. I used to feel a lot of self-doubt. I used to feel very unworthy. I used to feel not good enough. And thus, no matter what I want, I knew what I wanted to say. I knew what I wanted to show up as. I had to change my emotional patterns first. Without changing your emotional patterns, if you just keep saying positive thoughts, it doesn't work, because your belief patterns also create emotional patterns, and your emotional patterns of feeling powerless, helpless, unappreciated, invisible, victim, why does this always keep happening to me, all of those patterns need deeper healing. So I in this episode, because of the time constraint, one of the things that we teach in our communities is advanced Ho'oponopono. So we have to rewire our old belief patterns into new belief patterns. We have to rewire our old emotional patterns. Opposite of victim is powerful. Opposite of fear is comfort, safety. Opposite of self-doubt is confidence. Most people don't have emotional intelligence, and there is a whole body of research on emotional intelligence and how you navigate relationships with empathy, with a lot of social intelligence, a lot of motivation, as opposed to needing that external validation and needing that, wow, you did amazing. Yeah, wow, you did great. Versus giving yourself that wow, feeling proud, and then the world reflects that back to you. When I started treating myself with high respect, high self-esteem, high self-regard, I started seeing the world reflecting it to me. But I had to do it for me first, irrespective of what my situation in front of me was showing me. It just gave me a mirror of, oh, this is where my beliefs are. This is what people are doing. Oh, this is what my emotional patterns are. This is what I'm attracting. And taking that 100% responsibility put me and shifted me into an empowered seat, as opposed to the victim mentality that I was used to living.
So does this also help? Okay, I got you where you are saying that first we have to change ourselves. Does the
100%.
affirmations help?
Yes. So
When,
affirmations 100% help, but affirmations have to go, and affirmations have to go along with emotional patterns. So if you keep saying, I have an amazing boss, amazing boss, amazing boss, amazing boss, yes, eventually you'll start believing it. But in order because thoughts repeated over and over become our belief. What we believe is how we feel. How we feel is how we act. So for example, if you keep saying my boss is very toxic, I don't like him, he never appreciates me, then you'll feel bad, you'll feel powerless, you'll feel victim, you'll feel self-pity. So if you keep saying, wow, I love and appreciate myself, I'm so sorry for the pattern, energetic pattern that I am creating of feeling like a victim. Instead, I choose to feel love and respect for myself. Instead, I choose to forgive myself for recreating this pattern. And thank you for bringing this to my awareness. Thank you for that anything in my vibration that is causing me to feel this way. So when we change our feelings, we move from this victim, fear, doubting, shame, insecurity pattern, and we raise our vibration to, like when we just say, I'm sorry to someone, it's very humbling. When we say, please forgive me to ourselves, we say, you know what? My past no longer has control over me. I can choose this present moment and become a more wiser version of myself. Thank you for teaching me where my frequency is low. I love you so much. When you say that to yourself, people who love themselves, it's their responsibility to make them happy. People who love themselves, it's their responsibility to show up with courage. People who love themselves it's their responsibility to soothe themselves and love themselves. And that takes either, depending on your stress responses, trauma responses that we talked about in our last episode, We have all these patterns based on our subconscious programming and conditioning and our relationship to our parents early on. So when we heal that, we heal our relationship. I've seen it time and time again. Like, affirmations will work, but your emotional patterns also have to be looked at and also have to be tracked. That is also one of the advanced manifesting skills that I teach my community, that you have to, most of the day, 90% of the day, people show up negative and expect the world to treat them positive or the world to be positive. So if we show
So,
up anywhere from 60 to 90% negative, then that's what we're going to keep attracting more of.
so I've heard you the words feelings, thoughts.
Yeah.
So if I've heard of the term FDBA. Can you little explain to us, as
Yep.
you said, affirmations are good, but it has to be followed by good feelings and thoughts and all that. Can you little
100%.
explain about that?
Yeah, of course. So it's like anywhere that we are trying to go. So, for example, for the sake of this podcast, we want a boss um, that we want a good relationship with our boss, where we are respected, we are thriving, we are getting the promotions, we have an amicable relationship, we can resolve conflict together. That would be an ideal work relationship, right? So that is over here, let's say, for hypothetically. And right now, you are in one of the places that I discussed earlier based on your yin yang wounding. You're going above and beyond and people pleasing and needing validating and needing approval, or you're going above and beyond and hustling and grinding and doing all the things and you're burning out and thinking about leaving this job. You take you with you, so don't leave the job. Heal your frequency first, otherwise, you're going to attract the next situation that is exactly the same. So, I would really invite you to do that. And then the second thing about FTBA, so F stands for feelings, T stands for thoughts, the TB stands for beliefs, and A meaning action frequency. So they all have to be aligned. Think of it as the four wheels of the car. It's driving you to this place. When you're driving, all four wheels are going in the same direction. The car gets from point A to point B with ease, in alignment. But we want ease. We want a good boss. We want a good relationship. But our feelings are feeling victim, feeling not appreciated, going above and beyond, feeling tired and feeling controlled or feeling dismissed. The emotional, the thought patterns are, this sucks, I need to leave a job, I hate this boss, he's so toxic, blaming, complaining, right? Those thoughts repeated over and over become our belief. They become our absolute truth. That is not the truth. Beliefs can be changed, behaviors can be changed, emotional patterns can be changed, and thoughts can be changed. What we focus on grows. So if we keep focusing on those thoughts, then we'll act like, what? I need to apply other places. He never respects me. We go and complain about it to 100 people. And then we stay in that lower frequency, hoping that the boss will change, right? So if FTBA is in alignment, all the car wheels are going in the same direction, your thoughts are aligned with who you have become, you will attract more of that. Let's say hypothetically, if your script is, my boss trusts me, support me, and sees my values, how would that feel? You feel proud. So go create easy conditions for proud. You know what? I'm able to walk today. I feel proud. I did something for my workplace. I feel proud. Well done. If that's how your emotional frequency is, then you'll feel proud. Otherwise, if your pattern is not to feel proud and accomplished and set very hard conditions, that, oh, if my boss does this, if my team, only if he listens, only if I'm respected, and you don't have that self trust, that self confidence, that self high regard, that self, I am powerful and I love my work, I'm showing up with passion, I'm adding so much value. If that is not your frequency, then you're going to keep attracting what is here, your old frequency, and expect these results. You have to become this person. You cannot expect your boss to change if you have not become this person who is able to work with a boss that does have an amicable, trusting, supportive relationship.
Lovely. Great. Great explanation. Thank you so much. So I think this is more beautifully you explained, where we can improve the relationship. I think it requires a lot of practice. I think you
Yes,
are also conducting a lot of, regular sessions on how to go step by step on this. And I'm
yeah,
also conducting such programs and all
100%.
that. I think people should participate in those sessions so that they practice. And then because it is not that one time we convey the message and then people get it because the
Right.
next day again the same scenario will happen. So I think there should be some constant effort.
Can I say add something to that? The reason why it doesn't stick around is because neuroplasticity, which means our brain's ability to change, happens with repetition. Every thought is a neural connection. Every feeling we feel binds that collection together. So it takes, you have to keep repeating because it's like if you're feeling a certain way around your boss, you felt that way early on in life. Your boss has nothing to do with it. It's just people, situations, and opportunities. They just 10x our emotional patterns. So if it is our pattern to feel like a victim, to feel underappreciated, to feel all this self-judgment and needing that support and validation from the outside, even if you change jobs, it'll come up in other areas of life. So we have to keep healing these patterns over and over because we unconsciously repeated them for so long. So we have to focus and repeat on new patterns. So it takes repetition. Otherwise, people think that, oh, I'll watch this once. Okay, I'll think this. Second week, it goes back to where you started. Most people start out the year. Yes, this year I'm going to do this, 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 this. In 2 weeks, people stop everything that they're doing because our brain is used to going back to our old patterns. That's why we have to keep changing and repeating new patterns over and over and over. So that becomes an autopilot. That becomes the new pattern. That becomes our baseline.
Great, great. Thank you so much. If I may
Welcome.
ask you, can you share with us any take-home points for this podcast? Take-home points for the audience.
So one of the things I would suggest professionals to do two things. There is a morning mirror work practice that I have people do, right? If you're trying to change your patterns when you're getting ready, because you're getting ready for work every day, right? Or even when you're on your way to work, instead of being in the low frequency of getting mad at everybody and imagining the worst case scenarios and worrying and expecting that your boss is going to be mad at you and not have a good day unconsciously, one of the things I call this energy upgrade at work, right? So I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, make an eye contact. So you're looking yourself from the vision of your future self as opposed to your past self who is just struggling and suffering. Say to yourself and affirm to yourself that I'm safe. I feel seen at work. I feel very supported by my boss. I am so confident that today is going to be the best day ever. I am respected at work. What you say is what you create, how you feel. How you feel is how you act. And then say it with an emotion. Don't just say it. Say how you would feel if you were truly respected. Give yourself a pose of confidence. There's a TED talk on that. Like your posture really helps you feel a certain way. If you show up, yeah, things are happening, oh, this boss, or really controlling or really working hard, but then not feeling confident inside. I want you to give yourself and say it with the emotion of what would happen if you really felt respected and professionally recognized and showed up with passion at work that day. So I want you to have a relationship with yourself in front of the mirror when you show up every day. And then the other practice that I suggest to people, when your whole day is gone, before you go to bed, do some reflection, do some journaling, write this down. Tap out those emotional patterns, meditate. Most CEOs, 60% of CEOs, they meditate. Why? Because they have to run organizations that are so big that you want to show up with grace, flow, from the state of flow and from the state of ease. Otherwise, you are not going to be run an organization so big. So you act like the CEO of your life and do a gratitude leap. Like, what could I have done differently? We can't expect people to change, but where can my mindset be different tomorrow? Where could I have seen an opportunity of growth for me? How else can I have seen this? What am I grateful for today? The gratitude leap, every day write 3 things down that your boss did do right, that did go well at work, that you did overcome. Even the small ones. You are training, there's a part in your brain called reticular activating system. You're training the RAS part of your brain to notice alignment and not resistance. The more you resist something over and over and over and over, the more you're going to keep being in the same loop of this is not happening and that is not happening. So gratitude is a frequency of receiving, like it has already happened. It's an opportunity to create new opportunities instead of focusing on the past and what is not working.
Beautiful, Beautiful. Thank you so much. Lovely. Great. Thank you so much. And again, dear audience, in case you want to contact Gunjani, her email ID and her information is mentioned below. Even if you want to contact me and have some regular sessions, my ID also is mentioned below. And if you really like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for this thing. Thank you so much. Bye
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank
And we'll
you.
meet in the next podcast. Bye.